I wanted to ask you about, and is you know, as days go by, I'm sure that the UN has digested this sworn affidavit by the FBI. And what I wanted to ask you about now is the paragraph that has to do with Kenya, in which it is said that Ashe said, "I have been in touch with," bracket, "a particular Kenyan UN official and informed him of your desire to meet with him while he's in Beijing." And then this Kenyan UN official, which I'm reading to be a staff member of the UN who comes from Kenya, arranged various business meetings with Kenyan officials and others. One, can you say in the abstract, is it appropriate for a UN official to be setting up business meetings between businessmen such as the one indicted and government officials? And two, what is the UN doing about this sworn statement?
I think as I said, we're studying the full impact of the statement that was released by the Office of the Prosecutor for the Southern District. Any activity that a UN official conducts should be done within the full ethical requirements of that exist in the UN. The mere fact that a UN, and I'm speaking in complete general terms, not obviously on the particulars of the case, UN officials have contacts with NGOs, with foundations, with the business sector, even with journalists. All those contacts need to be held to the highest standards and following the ethical guidelines that exist in the United Nations.
Right. So, but I guess my question is, this seemed to be Ashe himself contacted this individual. So, is it within the ambit of the OIOS inquiry that the Secretary General has asked for?
I don't know the details of the reported meeting between Mr. Ashe and this person. So if I have something more,
But who in the UN? I guess all I'm saying is, who in the UN is reading this document and saying, we need to find out who changed the document?
There are a number of officers involved, and we're taking a
Can we get
look.
updates?
As soon as I have updates, I will offload them off my chest. Who is next? Mr. Lee, and then Linda, and then Abdelhamid.
Great. I want to ask you about Haiti and Central African Republic.
Yes.
On Haiti, I'm compelled to ask you. It seems like it's an anniversary. I'm sure you saw the people with the portraits of victims outside. I understand that's taking place in Geneva and Port-au-Prince. So I wanted to ask you. You know, the number they're using is 9,000 people killed, 745,000 people sickened by cholera. They say the UN brought negligently to their country, and that there's been no accountability. And I wanted to know, like, what now that Mr. Medrano seems to have decommissioned and wasn't replaced, what is the UN's response to this to this sort of being called to task for total lack of accountability and families left without breadwinners, et cetera?
I think on the legal issues, our stand has not changed. Obviously, on a more personal level, if you'd like to speak, I would refer you to what the Secretary General said when he met families of victims of cholera when he went to Haiti just about a year and a half ago, I believe, or 2 years ago. And those feelings still stand. The work that Mr. Medrano had done on mobilizing resources to help support the sanitation system and helping Haiti deal with the aftermath of cholera has continued under the auspices of the UN country team. So it's not as if the UN is not active on this front.
I guess if on the issue of sexual abuse and exploitation, there's a move towards setting up a trust fund to compensate victims. In this case, the families that were supported by the people that died are left with nothing. So I'm wondering, has the UN done anything in that regard?
The UN country team and Mr. Medrano had tried to raise funds to deal with the aftermath of cholera.
Right, only the water issues.
Okay, what's your CAR question?
Okay, the CAR question has to do with, I believe that Miranda Brown, who we've discussed in this meeting, in this room before, a whistleblower who was terminated, has written to the Secretary General. So I'm asking about the letter, but I'm more concerned with what's in the letter. She's citing this France 2 interview by a then employee in the Central African Republic who claims that she told the French Sangaris force of the rapes 2 months before Compass did. So the question becomes, Miranda Brown's letter said, drop the OIOS investigation of Compass. But my question to you is, why would this individual, who has publicly said they told Sangaris in May of 2014, not be in the same situation as Compass? What is it about Compass is being charged as having violated all kinds of procedures, and this person, her name is Paloriette, has said publicly that she told the French, I mean, there's a separate question of why the French haven't really done anything yet, but from a UN perspective, is Ms. Polyret a whistleblower and Compass not, or what's happening?
You know, who gets whistleblower status is something between the individual and the relevant offices at the UN. This whole situation, as you well know, is being looked at by a panel led by Marie Deschamps, and that report should be out next month.